All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. How we doing today? Let's get straight into it, shall we? Sorry for the delay this morning. Kind of predicted a late start, so... Live as well. Yo, what's up, Ultima Builder? This is cool, Mud. Definitely not clear, though. Elaborate, please. Well, all right, we are live. Yeah, so today we're going to continue working on the plugins. I didn't have time since the last live stream to touch Agent Atlas nor this tooltip chat or floating chat bubble across the Hermes agent dashboard. But last we left it, I mean, this was looking solid. Everything appears to be working. Some slight little UI bug here. Let's do a quick refresh. Let's actually also go in. I see the CPU is spiking. I wonder if I should give it 2 more threads here. I see what you mean. I gotcha. How you doing this morning? Welcome, Ultima. Love the name. What are you building? Let's do a quick update before we do any work. Is VM lagging this morning? Let's see. Nice. Yeah, listen, I still use OpenClaw every day. It's my daily driver when it comes to internal ops. Content creation, right? Helps me create a lot of my content. Helps me automate a lot of the tedious tasks. Let me rephrase that. I still, take charge in creating the content itself, but it just saves me a ton of time. I do have a video planned. I'm going to work on it next week where I'm going to attempt. This is not me saying I'm replacing OpenClaw with Hermes. However, I think the video would be very valuable for those wanting to migrate from OpenClaw to Hermes with agents in place, with automations in place, trying to figure out, okay, what breaks? Is it easy? Is it seamless? Does it actually work? Or are you going to have to essentially reconfigure things? Oh, I didn't. We're just working a lot on Hermes because, I'm the type of person, before I start making a lot of content around it, I'd rather start testing it. And I love these live streams, right? Because I get to just work with it in public. I get to show you my process. Sure, I still work on it offline, but I'm building out a multi-agent team on Hermes to handle front-facing products, to handle anything revenue generating. And then that multi-agent team has collaboration with my OpenClaw team, which has a ton of context into what I want to do with Clearmud, right? Short, medium, and long-term vision. So yeah, I didn't switch. We're just playing with Hermes quite a bit right now, so that when we do that boot camp, I can bring value in that boot camp rather than just doing surface level stuff and showing you what everybody and their mothers are showing you and repeating with videos. How to do the simplest of tasks. I don't want to make a boot camp like that. I want it to actually be value driven, right? I want you to get something from it. Yo, what's up, Paul? I remember you. How you doing? Been bad the last month, so I haven't been on. Hey, well, I hope all is well above all, Always take care of yourself. Always take care of your family. So today, we've been experimenting with Hermes Agent a lot because I do plan on doing our Season 2 bootcamp, which for any new viewers, our bootcamps are always free. They will be here on YouTube live streams. you know, I'm putting together a curriculum behind the scenes, and you know, I'm aiming the first week of June for the boot camp, although it's TBD, right? It's to be determined and to be announced for that matter. Just let me know you're interested. You know, the more people who show interest in that boot camp, the sooner I will schedule it. But for now, I want to keep testing Hermes. I really want to attempt to migrate Clearmud OS and Muddy OS to Hermes just to see what happens, what breaks. Is it easy? Yeah, I'm not going to show you that today, actually. But yeah, today we're just focused on building out some custom plugins. And I will eventually release these to the public. They'll be available through our resources. The first one is an agent atlas, which looks like with the update, okay, it still works. It's just a way for you to visualize your team. So this atlas is based off of how many profiles you have set up. And I'm going to create an onboarding that when you first install the plugin, you get to assign whatever profile to, you know, whatever job title you want to give it, right? So in my case, Neo is kind of like my Muddy on Hermes. He's my executive assistant. And then currently this is the multi-agent team that, you know, we haven't started building out automations for them yet. I'm more so just setting the foundation in place. But I wanted to create, rather than creating like a custom team chart here, I thought, what if I create a plugin that in my custom OS I'm building, I can just see a direct reflection of that plugin here in my styling. This part's broken right now because we're more focused on the plugin, but it gives you a floor plan view, the list view, traditional org chart, and then also a fun little 3D view. So a little fun plugin we're working on. And then I also built this live on Wednesday. And this is a floating chat bubble for, ooh, I'm noticing that's a bug. Okay. This is a floating chat bubble for your Hermes dashboard, right? So this will be installable via plugin. You'll have to have the TUI chat enabled in the dashboard. But yeah, it's fun little stuff we're working on. And I figured, why not just build in public, you know? Yeah. If you're talking about Clearmud, I love it. Yeah, thank you. You know what's funny? I don't know if you know the story about Clearmud. I came up with the name in December of 2023, and I started playing with primarily generative AI tools back then in that year. And I knew I wanted to start something. I had been out of work for a few years. I had retired from the IT industry due to burnout primarily, but a few other reasons for that matter. But I came up with Clearmud after a couple of days of thinking of unique names, and it just stuck. Like if you look at when this YouTube channel was created, it was December of 2023. The name was defined back then, but it took me about a year and a half before I developed that plan of what I wanted it to be. And then if you look back, I think our first video was June of last year. So we're almost 1 year into this channel, which is pretty sweet. I used Hermes, Cloud Code, Cursor, and Codex as subagents for OpenClaw to get slightly better results and save tokens. Okay, nice. Right on, Francisco. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My Portuguese in me wants to say it this way. But we are, it's on my mind every day. I'm working on the curriculum, little bits and pieces here. I'm just in the process of moving my custom dashboard theme to a proper Git project with full Kanban workflow. Having the agent work on stuff directly on the live system is a minefield. Yeah, I could imagine. Too many unintended edits of core Hermes files. Yeah, I feel like that has to be a operating rule when you're working in a particular session, right? Just saying, please do not, if you're going to touch any core Hermes files that could be replaced with a future update, let me know. Let's not do that, right? Yo, what's up, Sharba? No, so we're not modding If anything, we're creating plugins that are layers on top of that could just be layered into your Hermes dashboard. Yeah. We'll work on both of them today, most likely. I'm just, we're starting slow. We're just, vibing in the chat really quickly. Ooh, we went from having almost a heat wave. It wasn't too crazy. It was like 80s. To now a nice overcast cold morning. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love the sun too, but yeah, so this actually yo, what's up, F World? Welcome back. How we doing today? All right. Let me prep these really quickly. Agent Atlas thread. Let's pin this. We back. All right, and where's that chat bubble? Chat bubble. Anybody else running into the same issue? So, nope, I'm just blind. We back. All right. And let me close that thread. All right. Let's bring this back over here because we were primarily working on it between these two threads. All right. All right, so some initial thoughts to improve this floating chat bubble. When it's collapsed, looks great for now. I think what we should do, instead of putting text, you have the TY in a circle and then the chat in text. I think it should just be an icon. And let's just use some type of chat related icon from the Lucid icon library. I need to figure out what hotkey I'm hitting for that. And then when I press the, floating chat bubble icon, let's say it's positioned to the top left and I try to expand it. Well, that top part of the floating chat bubble will go out of the container and then I can't reposition it. So I think that it should always stick within the container of the Hermes dashboard. No matter where we are, right? If we expand the size, it should never, and I'm going to give you a screenshot, it should never try to go outside of the container here. I'm not sure how to explain myself technically, but I think you know what I'm talking about here. So let's make these minor tweaks. I think also we should be able to expand it from any corner. But this rule should apply within the entire container, please. Listen, honestly, like, I think we're just at a great point. I'm not sure what else I would want to do to this right now. I think, I want to start working on building out the team, because I have the chief of staff dialed in for Product OS, right? For this Hermes deployment. Now it's a matter of kind of optimizing this list view, I think is more than anything. So what do I want to see? I don't like how this looks like a wall of text here. All right, I think for the list view, operator looks good, orchestrator looks good. But when we get into... Oh, actually, one thing we do need to change here on the list view is... So the default agent profile serves as an administrator / API agent. We'll rarely use him, right? Primarily, we're going to be using Neo, and Neo is going to delegate the work. However, whenever I think I need to access the administrative profile, you know, I think he should be positioned differently on this traditional org chart view. I think he should directly report to me. So I think this is one of those unique scenarios where we connect him to the left of the operator. Rather, let's put him on the right-hand side of me, the operator. And, you know, he's just reporting directly to me. Then that allows us to clean up that row below where we have our chief of staff for engineering, marketing, growth, and research. So we'll essentially have 4 columns below Neo. And then when it comes to the floor plan, I think that in the operator office, it should be Marcelo and the default, or we should call him the administrator. Currently, you have the administrator in the open workflow. And then please, obviously, adjust. Well, I'm not going to tell you to adjust that. I'm going to see if our connection between floor and 3D works autonomously here. All right. Nice. Nice. Yeah, let me know what difficulties you run into, man. You know, you guys help me make videos. Like, when I discover there's a common thread amongst the audience, amongst the community of like, you know, I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, I'll spin up a video for you. You know, I enjoy that part of this. You know, I'm here to be of service to you. For anybody new watching these live streams, there's one differentiating factor here in Clearmud. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to fluff, and I'm not here to hype. I'm here to be of service. So ask me questions that I can answer or build videos off of that allow me to be of service. All right? It does not matter how many times you tell the agent not to modify any core files. It still does. Yeah. I mean, true. But you could always try. Did you try to create like an SOP or just like a vertical of SOPs for the Hermes agent dashboard when you're working on it? Maybe that might be helpful. Maybe it might be a waste of time, but it might be worth a try since you are going down that path. Doing great. Lord bless Hermes creators. My operations are very smooth these days. Nice, nice. Yo, what's up, Aries? Welcome back. Happy Friday. Hope you do the same. I was planning on starting a project to make the dashboard Electron based. Ooh, so it can be installed on any OS. However, need to find the time for it. Maybe make it first Hermes task. Yeah, so this is actually on my list. I'm gonna do this obviously myself first before I make any videos around it. But to my understanding, isn't Electron more so for Debian-based distributions in Mac OS? Don't you have to use something else to build it out for a Windows-based GUI? Or does Electron allow you to do that for Windows as well? See, I haven't dug too much into that. I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I'm aware that that's the solution to build a desktop app, but I thought that was just for Mac OS and Linux-based distributions. Debian primarily, but I could be wrong. What are you generally using for Hermes or OpenClaw? I'm using Llama. I'm using my OpenAI Pro sub, personally. Good afternoon, John. Welcome back. How you doing today? Are you not entertained? Okay, it is cross-platform. Okay, we learn something new every day. I love it. This is good to know. So I think it's time I start playing with this and stop delaying it. Right now, my priority is getting my Hermes team up and running, finishing up a few internal tools that are going to continue to save time on my end, and free up time to continue doing what I love to do most, which is just be Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory, if anybody remembers that cartoon. I love experimenting. I love building. I love trying new things, right? I love building new things, but it's like finding the time to do that is becoming more and more difficult as this channel grows. So I'm doing the things I need to do to free up my time to continue doing the things I want to do. And that's what OpenClaw and Hermes Agent I'm building my teams for, right? Is to free up time. Honestly, I was making it for myself first as well. I use Mac and Linux. As far as I know, Cloud Desktop is also Electron based. Okay. No, listen, I think you guys are right? Like, I haven't dug too much into this, but I trust you guys. And as I start, building my first desktop app that I will be testing across Windows, Linux, and Mac, I will be able to share more details about that and eventually make a video on it too. I have an idea. Currently, I used, what is it called? And this is not, obviously, I'm trying not to promo, but it's called MacDroid, right? So I still have a Droid phone. I prefer it over iPhones. However, this MacDroid app, it constantly pings me to pay. And all I use is the free versions of it. But every time I do anything, a pop-up occurs, right? And it's just so annoying. Yes, I can just keep hitting X, but it's just very annoying. So I want to build my own solution for a Mac to Droid link and vice versa. So I think that'll be a great video. But one thing I don't want to do is just do it for the sake of a video. I want to build it out first, and then I'll make a video around how I built it, I think is the better move. And then just make it free. Like, if it becomes very, very popular, maybe then we do a paid version, but that'll give me that experience to build out, a desktop version of this GUI to connect my Droid to the Mac and just have all the functionality that I want, Currently using ChatGPT for most things, but I've just added an agent profile, which is going to be running Kimi 2.6 via Llama Cloud. Nice. Mandrak is the most underrated evil personality of all time. Am I going to have to Google this name? What is this? I might already know. DC Comics villain? Is that what I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, because my first result was Mandrake. A plant root is one of several toxic plant species with a man-shaped roots and some use in folk remedies. I'm guessing that's not what you're talking about, Sharma. I'm guessing that's not what you're talking about. I'll be honest, my 2 Hermes agents I set up have been pretty close to perfect. One for ops that uses Coolify to manage my deployment, then one for web moderation, review, and some content posting. Nice. Oh, really? Man, it's been so long since I've seen that. Hold on. Oh, it's that chick. That's right. Man, I feel like we gotta do like a movie day and just watch an episode. That'll probably get us flagged copyright wise, but how's this morning brief looking? Oh yeah, so I recorded 2 videos yesterday. One for the Hermes TY, just Hermes TY focused, right? The other, I did a Gemini 3.5 Flash versus a GPT 5.5. Now, I know apples to apples, that's not a fair fight, but I gotta say, Gemini 3.5 Flash surprised me. We worked on like one overarching goal with 3 different artifacts. So we built out a landing page, a backend web app dashboard for the team, and then also it was supposed to be a mini game, but we ended up building a tool. And I gotta say, Flash 3.5 surprised the heck out of me. Did it win outright? I don't think so, but I think there's a world where you can use 3.5 Flash for front end and UX and UI related tasks to work with primarily Opus 4.7, because it killed GPT in that end. On the landing page, like I'll spoil it right now. It killed GPT. Now I did use 5.5 low reasoning, and we didn't do a PRD, right? We didn't give it an insane amount of context. We gave it just enough to allow the models to think for themselves and to see what they come up with. And it was a very interesting finding, I gotta say. But I do not like anti-gravity CLI. I'll be honest with you. I do not like it. They should have kept Gemini CLI. I'm not sure what they were thinking there. All right, floating plugin changes done. Okay, expanded, clamped inside the dashboard container. Good. Cool. All right, how's the atlas looking? Oh, they're both done. Wonderful. So let's first go and look at, I guess, both, shall we? Okay, seems like a bug out of the gate. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Seems like an overall bug. It did not change the chat. I feel like I have to restart something here, because nothing, yeah. I only see the changes to the agent atlas, but nothing happened with the chat. It still goes off. You can't drag from all four corners. Do we need to restart the gateway or restart the web server for this? Because for the agent atlas, I'm gonna give you a screenshot. You tell me what's wrong with this picture, because I'm not gonna explain myself. Yeah, so I don't see any of the changes applied. Like, it's... Do we have to restart the web server here for the dashboard? Do we have to restart the gateway? I already did a hard refresh, and that didn't do the trick. Remember, the Agent Atlas is a plugin we're working on. We're going to work on Product OS's view of it later, right? Right now, we're working on the Hermes agent built-in dashboard. We're working on the plugin itself. That way, once we're done doing all the work on the plugin, Product OS, which has a module called Agent Atlas, which is a direct reflection of the plugin in the Hermes agent dashboard, right? I think they both did the same thing. Did they just do work on... No. I mean, this chat is still... This chat was already optimized, though. So... This was... we had to build this one out custom for Product OS. So that had nothing to do with this plugin. Interesting. Anybody here? This is gonna be a total squirrel. Anybody here into bread making? Got any tips to for a sourdough starter without having to buy it? I've been making my own bread again since I've been back because I really want to get down to 3 ingredients, you know. I know this is a total squirrel for anybody new to the channel. We do this occasionally. We'll go off topic. Yo, Carthy, welcome. Today's video, what are the vibe code plugins you're planning to cover? Yeah, so I'm building out something I'm calling an agent atlas, which is going to be a plugin, obviously, for Hermes. And it's going to be a way for people to visualize their profiles, their multi-agent team, in a traditional org chart view, a floor plan, kind of like a top-down architectural view, and then depending on this floor plan, you get a 3D view of it as well. Right? This is more vanity than anything, but you know, I like to visualize things, especially how things get delegated. So we're building this out for us first, and then I'm gonna build out an onboarding feature when people first install the plugin. I hope to have this released by next weekend, because by next week I should be able to make a video around it and then drop the download link in the video. But we'll have to create an onboarding because, you know, the end user who has their own team is going to have to explain like which one of their agents does which role, which one of their agents is the COO, is the CTO, if you structure it that way. So I think the idea behind it is cool, but it really only it really depends on how you're setting up your team, because not everybody's setting up their multi-agent team the same way. And then we built out this floating chat bubble here that you can access from anywhere in the Hermes agent dashboard, and it keeps a persistent chat, and it's based off of this TY chat that you have open here. So these are the 2 plugins we're working on today. This one, as you can see, it's still a little bit buggy, and I have these 2 threads right here, and we're working on them, and we're just vibing, answering questions. Who knows, maybe we start working on another one. But yeah, that's thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the question. I hope you find some value here. I had OpenClaw completely rewritten in Zig, Clearmud. Have you ever run more than 100 agents simultaneously for coding that uses a maximum of 200? Yeah, I have not run that many. No. The most I got up to was about 25. And then I realized I could consolidate and do temporary sessions spawned, aka subagents, on OpenClaw instead, right? But yeah, I did get crazy at first. And then I realized it was too much for me. Now, I'm sure, depending on, you know, how much work you have them doing, yeah, I think 100 agents makes sense. But I don't have that type of system that requires 100. So I can't speak exactly to that. Wait, ULR, are you, hold on. We had somebody in the Discord who set up an insane setup. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm blanking right now. It's not Sharma, but it started with an S. I can't find him. I can't find him quickly. That's my bad. But yeah, we had somebody in our Discord who he built out a pretty impressive team. So he might be able to speak on that. Okay. All right, now we're just waiting. We wait and we vibe. And I'm also going to go look at this really quickly. I was just working on a new delegation path for how everything's going to work on Product OS. Actually pull this off screen so I don't hide that. That's a weird bug. And where is that? That's good. I actually kind of want him to work on this in parallel. So let's go to our Hermes agent dashboard. And that was this one. So this is something I do when I spin up the session. I make sure that, please continue where we left off, but then also confirm that current state and check the next task. All right, look, we got a little chat bubble now, so it is working. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, it looks like it's just stuck across the top. Interesting. All right, we're going to have to fix that because depending on what page you're on, you might want to move this. Oh, no, we can. I think I was just being impatient with it. Okay, cool. Nice. Much better. Great. Awesome. Weird little bug, though. Huh. It's probably still working, so I'll come back to that in a second. I should have probably waited until all of these changes get applied, because I know I'm going to have to do a few hard resets here. Right now, seeing the dashboard was serving default Hermes plugin path. But that was a good test. So I did the Hermes update today, and nothing really broke. Everything worked, which is great. Everything loaded. Love to see it. Okay. All right, so some notes for our atlas, right? The current viewpoint, the default / administrator is not sitting to the right of the operator like it should with a direct connection, right? He directly reports to and works with me, the human. And then you have this empty row where the chief of staff are, right? I think we got to increase the width of each column so that they span from left to right, right? So that there's not that empty space there. Let me know if you have any questions. And also on the floor plan, the default / admin agent essentially just disappeared off of our atlas altogether. Nothing broke because you answered yes to the restore. Oh, I just by default, if I see a capital Y, I hit Y. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. Yeah, thank you. That's hilarious. All right. Mr. Baker with the alpha, thank you. Yo, what's up, Nicholas? Welcome. Hey, and thank you for this feedback. Took 2 hours yesterday, migrated from OpenClaw to Hermes for the house assistant. Cannot believe how easy it was, and it did not lose any context. Awesome. That's good to know. So next week, I'm testing that with... Now, to be clear, I don't intend on migrating Muddy OS and Clearmud OS over, right? But I want to do it as a test so that people see the step-by-step involved with agents that have automations in place. That's good to hear that it was easy. Did you follow the skill? I believe it's in here. Let's just... It's a weird bug. I'm not sure if they've noticed it. OpenClaw. Did you follow this skill here to migrate out of curiosity? Because this is what I'm going to follow to do it. And I'm just going to record my screen and make a video out of it because I think it'll be very valuable for other people thinking of the same thing. But that's good to know that it was easy and seamless for you. But I'd love to know if you don't mind answering. Or did you just prompt your agent to say, hey, I'd like to migrate my OpenClaw over to this Hermes setup and vice versa, right? Prompting both. Because I'm sure that's an approach that you can take. But I'd be curious because I haven't heard anybody talk about using this yet. I'm sure it's here for a reason, but I'd be curious to know. Right, looks like they are still working. But the chat bubble plugin is looking solid. I don't want to start that session yet because I know I'm going to have to hard refresh this dashboard. So I'm just going to have to clear it and restart it again. There we go. Now I want him off to the right. I don't want him below me. But he could still be doing that work, so we'll give him a moment here. Nice, nice. Very nice. So I had both running at the same time on the same machine for a very short time. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, so my demo will be separate VMs, you know, how to migrate from one to the other. Because I did not set them up initially on the same machine. Now, maybe that's the easier approach, right? Maybe, I guess I'll find out when I attempt to do this. Because maybe through the process of migrating it from one sandboxed VM to the next, I discover, shoot, I think it's better just to deploy a fresh Hermes agent system onto that OpenClaw system, migrate, and then remove OpenClaw. That might be the move. So thank you for this. This is very helpful to know, you know, the approach that you took. So, first impressions. Migrating, are you happier? Like, why, if you don't mind me asking, why did you migrate in the first place? What were you running into? Was it like gateway instability issues? Be curious to know. Nice, it did it. It's doing it exactly how I want it. All right, there's just too many administrator. Come on now. The heck. Yeah. Common occurrence. This is, I feel like, a common thread amongst people with OpenClaw. Although I will admit that my most recent OpenClaw deployment, which is my personal one, it'll never see the light of day. I'll never show it off. It's for me. It's been flawless. It has been flawless. The only gripe I have with it is I haven't taken the time to feed it a ton of context or SOPs, rules of operations, right? To where GPT 5.5 on medium reasoning on Muddy OS is solid because I have so much context, so many rules, so many SOPs in place to where it's more so following instructions than it is thinking for itself. But on my personal, a fresh OC deployment, man, it is so dumb on medium reasoning. I had to toggle the thinking level up to high, and now I'm happy with it. But that first, few days of using it, I was like, man, this is not like, it's reliable, it's solid. I don't have to restart the gateway. But like the way it was thinking was just horrible. So I had to up it. And now I'm very happy with it, I will admit. Everything I have is on one machine, nothing connecting to the outside. Yeah, awesome. Nice. Overwhelming lack of trust. I couldn't trust OpenClaw to finish a task, and subagents would fail silently. Right on. I hope that's the case for you too. Yeah, I have a video in the queue for the Kanban board as well as all the plugins that Mr. Baker in chat has shared with us, but I want to test them thoroughly first, and it's a matter of getting Product OS up and running, assigning more responsibilities to the team. I want to get at least 15 automations in place and test that Kanban board plus plugins thoroughly before I make content around it. I don't want to just make content around it showing it off. I want to fully understand it, so coming soon for sure. And obviously that's on my priority list before we schedule a boot camp. Yeah, so going back to it, like this fresh deployment of OpenClaw, I'm very happy with. I've been noticing recently that Muddy, all of my automations work, but it's like adding new things to the mix. And with each new update, something breaks to where I have to do some maintenance. It's really annoying. It's really, I really hope they fix that because I don't intend, I'm going to migrate the system to Hermes for the sake of demonstrative purposes, but I don't intend on having Hermes take over. We'll see what happens, but it's definitely different. It's different. Let's see, did it carry over? Nope. Let's see. Wait. Aha. Look at that. It did. It automatically repositioned the agent. Awesome. Awesome. So that link between the floor plan and 3D works. That's awesome. That's solid. Rewrote GitHub spec kit is an OpenClaw skill and use it as a skill for everything so it doesn't constantly lose context. Okay, right on. I have not. I've dug into it, but I didn't take the time to deploy it because I built out what it offers in my OpenClaw setup from scratch. So to me, it's kind of like, it was kind of pointless. In addition, listen, this is no shade on Paperclip or Paperclip users, but I do not like it when a founder stays anonymous. Like, don't bring those crypto vibes into the AI space. It's pointless. Like, what are you trying to hide? No offense to the founder. I just, listen, I've lost trust in Paperclip because of that. I have 4 cron jobs that start that fire starting at 6 a.m. to the house, time alarms for the kids, weather reports, and even a tech brief for me to read. They break, and then I spend the next hours fixing. Yeah, okay, interesting. But on Hermes, What's been your experience so far? Like, did it migrate those cron jobs? Did you have to reconfigure the timing? Did you have to re-enable them? Or did, once you were done with the migration, did they just start? Or did you have to do some fine tuning? That's the part I'm most curious about with the migration. Because a lot of my OpenClaw system for Clearmud internal ops depends on a ton of automations, a ton of crons. I think I have close to 40 crons. That's what's scaring me the most is, am I going to have to go through each cron and make sure... okay. Oh, they do not migrate. Interesting. Ooh, I'm going to discover that in the video that I'll record, but ooh, yeah. Wow. Yikes. Yikes. I'm not looking forward to that one. All right. Solid. I don't, however, like... All right, for the 3D view of the Agent Atlas, first off, let's talk about the way you're kind of organizing each viewpoint. I'm going to take screenshots for you. So you have this banner across the top that has its own container. But then you have the container below with whether it's a list view, floor view, or 3D view. I wonder, can we co-locate the titles, the header of the container below into the container above and just have one container for all of that information? We have our nav header, so to speak. I put in air quotes. That has the toggle between list, floor, and 3D. But then we see everything within that container. Does that make sense? I'm trying to reduce, you know, A, friction, but B, make this simpler. Like that header you have up there is kind of redundant and pointless because we know what plugin we clicked into, right? We don't necessarily need all of that information. So maybe we can co-locate the two. And also for the 3D view, you know, the reason I have this idea is the background of the 3D view could extend inside that entire container. Let me know if you have any questions. And let me give it all three of those screenshots. Okay, interesting. Yeah, hey, yeah, like I'd love to hear, have you tried Paperclip or were you just asking? Because yeah, for my OpenClaw setup, it's like I built out so much of that from scratch. I didn't even bother like considering Paperclip. And then I watched notably the interview with Greg Eisenberg, and like immediately I was turned off. It just reminded me of the crypto space, of people extracting, of people not wanting to show their face because they have malintentions. Now, I'm not saying that the Paperclip founder has malintentions. It's just, what are you hiding? I'm never going to trust this system. I'm never going to trust you. So I don't want to use what you've built. You know what I mean? Also, like that whole space, I don't want to speak negatively on it. I believe in that tech long term, but I don't like people bringing in the tactics from that space into the AI space. That's what I dislike, is those tactics that people used in the crypto space, especially during that NFT boom. Seeing them bring those tactics into the AI space. Like, come on. Come on. Okay. Interesting. I haven't run into the issue where OC forgets the jobs exist. Now, maybe it's because I spent a lot of time with context and mapping out. Like I did a lot of back and forth sessions where we defined the rules of operation. Like when a prompt comes in or when a message comes in through the main session, it gets delegated. It follows these set of rules, right? I spent a lot of time on that mapping. to where I don't have that issue. It's more so with updates, when they update new things, make things a little bit more secure. You know, when I first built out this custom solution, things break because of that, because of the way I had it configured. I have to then go back and fix the front end viewpoints. It's really annoying. It's really tedious. I hate it. Convert your Cron skills. Yeah, and this is also another unlock is I think 90% of my Crons have skills tied to them, which give the step-by-step as to how I want that Cron to operate. That was a true unlock. That was the true unlock. Is it dead? Or is it still alive? Yeah, I guess I was, but I didn't want to jump on some train and try to build some competitor. Like, listen, like OpenClaw, like, listen, Hermes is great. Don't get me wrong. OpenClaw is great too. There's room for both of them. I believe OpenClaw is here to stay. Same with Hermes. The team behind Hermes is legit. They have a background in the AI space. Like, and Peter obviously has his background. Loves to deploy an ungodly amount of things in such a short period of time. Like, I think I would have lost confidence in OpenClaw if he sold or, you know, handed it off to OpenAI, but then didn't join the OpenAI team. I would have been turned off by that. But the fact that he was pulled into the OpenAI, regardless of whether or not you agree with the company, like the fact that he's there with the company keeps that belief in OpenClaw for me personally. I don't, however, like the fact that OpenAI started off as an open source company, right? And then they changed. I don't like that. So for them to be the stewards of this open source project, it's kind of concerning to an extent, but I think that as long as Peter's on the team, it will remain open source. I had a similar cron issue with OpenClaw. The cron mastery skill helped solve that. I really need to get hands-free talking to mine. Typing all the time via Telegram gets the point. Hey, just right now, do a prompt in your Telegram saying, hey, I'd like to be able to send you voice notes in this Telegram session. I want you to be able to transcribe them and respond to me in text. Enable a free open source solution of Whisper. It'll handle it. I send voice notes. Like, this is my preferred method for voice notes. Obviously on my workstation here, I do voice to text. I use WhisperFlow daily. To the extent where my typing has suffered. My ability to spell has suffered. But voice notes all day. I have it enabled on my Discord sessions as well as Telegram. And I just send a voice note. It transcribes it. It responds and it takes action on whatever I say. It's awesome. It's awesome. And it's that easy to set up, Nicholas. It's that easy. Try that right now. Yeah, I have some older videos covering it. And we also have... They might be a little outdated, but I think they're still useful. If you go to our website, I started building these resources for me, but then I started getting comments saying we want to be able to view these. So I built out this public resources. If we go to the OpenClaw, did they disappear? No, skill first pattern. So this talks about, you know, I made a video about this if you search through older videos, but I give a lot of prompts in here as to, we kind of explain it. We explain how to set it up. You can obviously feed this URL to your agent. Now, I know now you're on Hermes, and I think this would still be helpful on Hermes. I haven't personally tested it yet, but you have a cron prompt template. And then the very first line of the cron is to read the associated skill that you create for that workflow or automation that you are scheduling. Like, I think this is why I'm so happy with my OpenClaw setup. It's because I took the time to convert all of my automations that require step-by-step instructions with this structure, right? And this is all available for free. You just gotta log in with your Google OAuth. And you have access to all these resources. I did tease, it looks like. Yeah, I already made it live. Listen, this video is going live this weekend. You guys are welcome to go look at that cron ahead of time. But I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start releasing resources a few days before we actually drop the video. All right, let's go back to our Hermes agent dashboard. And let's hard refresh this, see if it's done the work. Okay, it combined the container. Looks a little better. Ooh. I love this. I want this to be full screen though. Let's see, is it still working? Yeah, he's still working. So let's wait. It's just, he seems untrustworthy because of the fact that it started out as one thing and then he completely shifted gears into how he accepts funding. Like, it was that flip-flop that makes you not trust him. Now, in his defense, you know, when we look at big companies like this, it's not always the founder's decision to switch gears, right? Once you get to a certain level, there's other forces that help control the direction the company goes in. So, like, I can't fully blame him, but this right here, having Peter join OpenAI, is like putting the lobster in the pot of cold water. Having Peter join OpenAI was a good sign for OpenClaw. Like, if he didn't join and OpenClaw was acquired by OpenAI, then yeah, you're not alone, right? Yeah, and you can always have your agent just look at that page and just ask it to analyze all of your crons and say, hey, which ones require skills? So when you think of like, does my cron need a skill? Does it do a repeatable task? Does it have to follow instructions? Does it have to follow a listicle, so to speak, 1 through 5 in a certain order? And does it have to call certain tools within each line? That's when you want to start thinking about creating a skill for it, right? Because you'll find, as I found early on, that relying on the cron itself, putting the instructions in the cron, the output is inconsistent. It's inconsistent, right? It's sometimes it'll be the desirable output, sometimes it won't. And adding that skill, having the cron read the skill first and foremost, and only doing like system and config related stuff in the cron itself, you'll find it's the output's consistent every time. It doesn't fail. It is wonderful, but not all crons require skills. I think it's a matter of analyzing, A, whether or not you need that, and then B, applying it and testing it. All right, let's clean up that desktop there. All right, give me 1 second. I got to take a bio break. This coffee. But Man, I'm gonna squirrel here for a second. My foot is hurting. Anybody ever drop something on the arc of their foot, that top part? I had this whiteboard that stands on its own, but it was folded up behind a door. And yesterday I was recording these videos. I closed that door for the sake of the echo, and I walk away, stand at the camera, and the thing just bam slaps right over my slides, hits the top of the arc of my foot, and today I am limping. It is rough. No bruising, no bad bruising, so should be fine. I don't think, you know, anything serious happened. I just gotta elevate it a little bit, ice it a little bit. That's what you get around here. We squirrel a little bit. We don't just talk AI. We talk whatever comes to mind. I should probably get a little animated squirrel GIF on screen. When I start to squirrel, I just press a button and a squirrel pops up on screen. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? All right, let's check these changes here. What I changed: remove the separate redundant Atlas banner. Great. Merge the plugin identity plus current view metrics list. Good. I kept the source of truth line in the unified header, but removed the extra view header layer. Added view specific shell classes, so the selected view can control the whole. All right. Let's just test it, shall we? Bam. Hard refresh. I'm loving this look. I feel like this could be half the size. Love the floor. I don't, however, like... Okay, no. This is actually desirable. Before, wasn't it flopping? So, like, if I click this, it would change the view. But now it's actually staying pretty consistent. All right, now I would like the... I think this should apply across all viewpoints, but you see all this empty space below, like especially when it comes to the 3D viewpoint. I think it would be a better experience for the end user to make sure that this is full width and full height within the container, right? This would obviously adjust based off of the end user's resolution, but you see all that empty space down there. We want to resolve that, but I'm wondering if we should just do that for all three list views, right? Because all three list views cut off. They're not all the same. It looks like the 3D view is actually shorter than the other two, but let's make this tweak and see how it looks. Ah, man. I can't say I know what that feels like. It really just depends on what I do the day before or 2 days before. I would love a 3D office model, but I do not use subagents for the house. It would just be Rose sitting in the middle of the room. Yeah. And this is something that, you know, I'm going to have to put as a disclaimer. Like, this Agent Atlas plugin is only going to work if you have, you know, at least 3 agent profiles set up. It's going to be interesting to test and see the community feedback when we release this to the public and allow people to fork it if they should choose to fork it. And then this chat bubble plugin, I think this will be a fun one too. But I want to continue testing over the course of the weekend and into next week as Hermes updates. I want to continue to update Hermes. As per Baker's recommendation, I'm going to hit no next time to see... I feel like this should be a rule of thumb. Like, Mr. Baker, can you chime in on this? Like, don't you want to do this so that your changes don't get replaced? Or would you think that this would cause more issues with the update and the dashboard in general? Right? Like, to me, this makes sense to hit yes every time, especially if you're changing things, if you're improving your dashboard. But I'm going to have to test hitting no to see what happens and then go from there on the next update. But I would think that the rule of thumb is always hit yes. But I would love to hear your feedback as far as why you shouldn't hit yes. Oh, that coffee almost just went flying across the keyboard and the screen. Ooh. No, no, no. Do not press no. I feel like we should always hit yes. And I think when I record the video for these plugins, I'm going to be like, you just always hit, when you see a capital Y and a lowercase n, just hit the capital Y, right? I did not see. I did not see. Yesterday was a rather busy day. Up early, up late, very little time. I'm going to go check it out real quick. Oh yeah, tip of the day. This is the alpha right here. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Okay, I'm gonna have to add this to my list for that video. My mental list, so to speak. It's easy to remember. Now targets the available viewport height instead of sizing only to its content. Unified container now uses a 3-row layout, header, active view, source. All view panels now use full width plus height inside the container. Great. 3.js mounts now. Fills the remaining space. Good. 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 Good, good, good. Hard refresh. Hey, looking better. Looking much better. Much better. Kind of takes some getting used to. And one thing I don't like is the name of the office rooms. Is there a way for us to get a little bit more creative with that? I wonder if we just put it in the ground. That might look kind of ugly though. Interesting. I like the idea of just seeing the tags for the agents. All right. Good job. I have no notes as of now, except for one in the 3D viewpoint. I think clicking the room should reorganize the camera view like it currently does. However, if I zoom in and I click a tile, like if I click Neo, for example, right? It should pop up a tooltip showing the specifics that we list as far as, you know, one thing we also have to improve on the list view is we need to add a skills pill tag with a number in parentheses so that we can just get a finger on the pulse as far as which agent profile has, you know, whatever number of skills accessible or applied to him or her. I think that that should be visible on the 3D view as well. But more importantly, like the 3D view, if I click an agent, it should pop the agent up into the left-hand side, so you see the full voxel character, and then have a menu pop out to the right that shows the specific of that agent, right? So I want you to also take a look at the list. It looks like you reduced the width of the operator and the orchestrator, but administrator is still very wide. I want you to do the opposite. The operator and the orchestrator should have wider tiles, whereas the administrator should be half the width of its current width. And let's also optimize the subtext for our chief of staff. Like, for example, the architect. All of that subtext should not be capital. All caps, rather. I think you should use capital to start a sentence or, you know, a word or a phrase, but all caps is kind of jarring to me. And then I think we should also include pill tags for each tile. So obviously the human, the operator, we don't operate off of an LLM model, but I think that for the CTO, for example, we have him configured with GPT-5.5. So let's do colored pill tags per models that we use. Currently we use Opus 4.7 and GPT-5.5. Opus 4.7 is primarily for subagents. But let's add that pill tag feature. Update the floor in 3D. I think that we should do the same effect for the floor plan. If we click a tile, it should then pop open, drop down a tooltip referencing what specifics that agent handles, the models, the skills, etc., etc. So this was a big brain dump. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. And before I send it, I might want to do one more thing here. Ooh, excuse me. Let me clear my throat. Installing Piper since Hermes is fast. Whisper built in. No intervention needed. It told me so 10 minutes and we should be ready to go with audio. Let's go. Good to hear. Nice. Okay. Now, you're referencing the Hermes update, correct? Yeah, good thought. Good thought. And I think one other thing for the 3D view, I don't like that the, open workflow tiles are floating where they are. I think they should be on the wall itself. Let's give that a try. Right? Because it kind of takes away your attention from the agents themselves. All right, sweet. I also feel like Neo should be an operator. No, right? I really think Neo should be an operator. Yeah, one other thing we got to improve with our current layout is Neo is technically... He's technically an operator. Scratch that. And I also want to rename Open Workflow to C-Suite Team or C-Suite Floor. Because I think eventually we're going to turn research pods into like the bullpen, and that's where we'll put all of our agents and sub agents that sit underneath our C-suite team. So let's move Oracle into the open workflow, aka whatever you rename it. Get creative, and then research pods. Put a placeholder, but that's going to be our bullpen. All right. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I'm honestly gonna ask Neo once we get to a point where we're happy with it. You know, just share that we want to release it to the public. What problems might we run into? Like, did we edit any core Hermes up, you know, core files, which I believe we did at some level, but we'll see. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Check this out. You know, core files, which whoa, didn't mean to do that. Love it. Is you know, one thing I wish we could reorganize these plugins really easily. And also, it looks like my dashboard is kind of buggy. You can see here it says 0 active sessions, which is incorrect. Gateway status stopped, which is incorrect. Don't want to have it doing that work yet, so I'm going to save that screenshot. Just label it 1A. We'll get to that in a bit. Ooh, I knew I was forgetting something. Something on a personal level. Perfect. Got to get in the habit of filling out that list every morning. And I got to optimize that for responsive. Although I don't think I'll access that mobile. Alright. Just have to patiently wait here. I'm using the Kanban workflows with Git projects so that the agent is nowhere near the core files, then pushing the changes from Git project to the Git dashboard as a preview plugin for inspection. Nice, nice. Yeah, when can I use your theme? Honestly, I love that light theme that you're working on. Love how simple it is. And just the look, I mean, it just reminds me of Clearmud OS, to be honest. Ooh, there's also, we're going to squirrel a little bit. Is this still in beta, or is this the latest release? All right. All right, Muddy, I want you to analyze, double check what version of OpenClaw we're running. I think it's 5.12 or 5.7. I want you to compare it to the most recent OpenClaw update available. See if we need it, see if we need to update, and more importantly, see if it will break anything that we have currently set up. Essentially, create a list of things that it's going to include, certain features that we may want to utilize. All right. And I want to continue this here. Copy that link. That'll be the easiest way. I should just start a thread here, to be honest. Does that actually have persistent? No, it does not have persistent memory. Do you think that's something we should add? Yeah, no, this, yes, yeah. It makes our lives more difficult building the thing, but I think it's easier in the long run, for sure. This is a good tip. Thank you. One thing I'm also noticing, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Baker, it looks like this only shows the recent sessions for the TUI and not necessarily the Discord. Because I don't see... like what we're working on right now, it should be showing that session between these two threads, you know, in the past hour and a half or so, or I guess almost 2 hours now. But it's not. That's interesting. I could have sworn this is supposed to show all sessions, right? Unless, because I created that so long ago, maybe it's one of these? No. That is very, although my dashboard is a little buggy right now, as you can see. We got to fix this. We do have to fix this. Not yet. That's on my list for next week. I've already created the VM. Where is it? Let me move it off screen really quick, please, so I don't expose something that I'm not supposed to expose yet. Okay. So I have this memory OS here that I've already set up the VM itself. I just haven't taken the time to set it up yet because I want to turn this into a demo. So memory OS is going to be essentially a local version of Honcho that's going to connect my OpenClaw and Hermes setups. So Clearmud related ops. But I'm going to show the start to finish. So we're going to start off by obviously deploying and installing Ubuntu server, and then enabling Honcho, installing and enabling Honcho, linking it to, and vice versa, linking OpenClaw and Hermes to Honcho. It's on my list. It's just, it's going to be one of those videos where it's going to take me a few hours at bare minimum to record, and then even longer to edit. That's why I didn't want to rush this out there. I want to take my time to do it right. But it is on my list very soon. Yeah, I want to go ahead with the implementation phases that you listed out there. Right, and I believe step 1 was making sure that each and every agent profile has their own gateway port assigned to them, right? Let's go check on OpenClaw. All right, let's see what it finds. Okay, we're running 512. Latest stable is 520. Do we need to update? Yes, but I would not do it unless you explicitly want downtime. It's the gateway level update. Yeah, I already know this. I do not see a new changelog breaking section between. Why is it marking these as stale? Interesting. I have to look into that. That's cool. That is really cool. Although I never found that to be an issue for me personally, but that is really cool. Okay. I wonder if this is going to break our Muddy Ops chat. Yeah, definitely not going to do it now. But I think I may very well just do it later, right after the live stream, when I get into my editing workflow. Hey, Sharma. Thanks for spending your Friday with us, man. I hope you have a great weekend. Cheers. I'm in the process of moving my theme. In the process of moving my theme to a Git project, so I can also do a dark version, and also so I can do theme overrides once for all theme variants when plugins don't natively display properly. Okay. Let's go. I'll definitely be a dummy tester. I'm setting up specifically demo accounts now. This one you guys will never see. I turned this into a personal bot personally. But I'm going to set up an OpenClaw demo. That way I can really start just testing things and just not test them natively in my Hermes or OpenClaw setups. Because I've been making the mistake of like each new demo I set up, it turns into something. I want to just keep a demo account for the sake of keeping a demo account so we can just break it and have some fun with it. So this one's always going to be a Hermes demo. I'm going to set up an OpenClaw very soon. That's always going to be an OpenClaw demo. And those will be on this server just permanently. Well, currently it's not on a server, but they will eventually, as soon as I fix that main board. This whole tree of VMs are going to be migrated over to that server. Okay. Bam. All right, I don't want a hard refresh because I'm in the middle of a session now. Shoot. That's a bummer. I've actually not connected Hermes to Discord yet, so not sure about the session display on the dashboard. Yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to have to ask and figure out why it's not showing these two. I know we created these on Wednesday, so I wonder if it shows the session. The problem is it's showing when it was created and not necessarily 58 minutes. But obviously my dashboard's kind of, it feels broken right now. So we got to fix that. I mean, it has that TY session within chat here, Wait, did that just reload? So it's not persistent. Huh. Interesting. Seems like we have another underlying issue with the chat tab in the Hermes agent dashboard. Before we look into that, I want you to see why on the bottom left-hand side, it shows that the gateway status is stopped and that there's 0 active sessions when that is incorrect. Now, does it at least keep this session as I navigate through? Yeah, it does. Interesting. Interesting. Are you talking about for Hermes? I'm building my own right now. So I'm building the Agent Atlas, and then I've also built the this one here, where it's a floating chat bubble across your Hermes dashboard. Right, so this one is just so once you navigate out of chat, it keeps the same session. And as you're navigating through the rest of the dashboard, right, you can still keep chatting and you don't have to keep tabbing back. The other one, the Agent Atlas, is for creating a list, floor plan, you know, a traditional org chart view, a floor plan view, and a 3D view of your team. So I do have to do a hard refresh on this page, but we're in the middle of the session, so I don't want to do that at the moment. We'll continue that other session here in a moment. Yeah, and I also noticed an intermittent bug where we restored a past session by hitting the play button in the sessions tab for that relevant session. It took us into chat. We recovered context. We started doing some work. I then tabbed out and hit the floating chat bubble, and it started a new session. So it wasn't persistent. So this is something that we have to dial in before we release this plugin as well. I'm not sure if it's related to the plugin or if it's related to Hermes agent core files. Please look into this. All right, I'm going to send that into our chat bubble plugin thread. The joys of being live. This is honestly why I do it. You don't get any value in seeing me show off the fine-tuned product, the finished product, the bug-free product. I enjoy these lives because when something breaks, I find it very interesting. And I know that for some people, it's going to bring some value, whether it's my approach or whether you just need peace of mind knowing you're not the only one it happens to. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just show you the polished, finished products. Like, that's what these lives are for. It's just watch me work and let's vibe off of chat, you know? And then obviously lives are for boot camps as well. Interesting. All right, so a hard refresh should fix the issue, correct? And then also, I'm noticing that our Discord threads aren't showing up in the sessions tab. And they might be showing up if they only show up based off of when they were created, correction. Please confirm. All right, we'll check. We'll do a hard refresh here in a moment, because I want a hard refresh and go back to that session as well. What's up, Derek? Happy Friday, sir. How you doing today? Welcome back. I believe I have something arriving shortly. I might have to step away for 2 minutes. What is that? I should hear a doorbell. Let me keep one ear off, so because these things are noise canceling, I wouldn't be able to hear it if I didn't have one ear out. Doing well, just going in 5 different directions as usual. Was setting up Hermes on MacBook and it restarted and my Mac updated. Now I can't find Hermes/OpenClaw. What? Interesting. Interesting. Where did you install them? Do you know by default where they go? I wonder if you put that same question into ClawCrib, will it give you an answer? Ah, yes. So that explains it. It looks like we are using the default. Okay. So that's actually a user error on my end. Got it. So I think for now, I'll continue to use this main chat, but I think for the sake of using our system right with how I intend things to operate, we should be opening our Neo gateway dashboard rather than the default administrative dashboard. But since we are building out the system, I think it makes sense to do it here as the admin, as the default, so to speak. Okay, Mr. Baker, so it looks like that's the reason, right? We're operating out of the default port. So we're technically using the default agent profile here. We're not using Neo. So Neo is what I'm chatting with in Discord. So that's why the sessions aren't showing. Aha. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, to me, it sounds like you did a factory reset on it. I mean, is all your data gone or just OpenClaw and Hermes data? Like your desktop, your documents, those types of files. Are they all still there? Or does it feel like a brand new install? Okay. Yeah, now I'm curious. Oh, wait, nope. It's, yeah. "11 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, floating chat bubble, Marcelo back online." Cool. Yeah. This is solid. Interesting. Failed to load Kanban board 500. Okay. I'll have to troubleshoot this one. 2 minutes. Man, I love how things come on time over here. In Portugal, if I were to have a delivery like that, it's like you get a 5-hour window. Doesn't come like right within minutes of 11 a.m. It's great. All right, we'll come back to Neo's dashboard another time. Let's go back to our default agent dashboard since we're doing all the work in there. Yeah, I personally hate grocery deliveries. I try to avoid ordering produce because people don't know how to pick out good produce, in my opinion, especially workers who are just doing the job, following the list, putting it in the cart. I get other things, you know, but can't drive the Jeep right now. That's on its way to the shop. And my bike, I got to fix this weekend. I got to change the oil and install a new battery, which I actually have to prep today and charge overnight. So as soon as that bike's up and running, then I can ride myself to go get my own produce. But yeah, until then, I'm kind of ordering everything and then walking to this insanely overpriced local neighborhood market for produce until, you know, the bike's up and running, which should be by Sunday evening. Yeah, I've cut my default profiles dashboard just for VM. Okay, nice. Yeah, I think what I should do is start working off of Neo's dashboard sooner than later. I think what we'll start doing is doing that next week since we're almost at the end of this session. I'm going to finish all the work on the default profile for now. Okay, so yeah, your personal files are still there. So I'm sure the data is still there somewhere, right? But maybe you have to reinstall them and have them scour your system for, you know, those directories. Now they should by default, if you do like a DM me, I can help you. Yeah, DM me. Try to help you recover that and find it. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I know did I label the title of this live stream vibe coding? I think I did. Yeah. I use that term cautiously. I think it was appropriate for today because we're just vibing in the chat and we're honestly just vibing our way through this thread, building out these two plugins back and forth. Yes, I agree. Spec-driven development is the move, right? Take the time to prep out a PRD. But that wasn't the approach today. The approach today was to vibe our way through it. But I do agree with you, Uzman. Uzaman? Uzman or Uzaman? Hopefully I'm saying this correctly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everything else can be delivered, right? I don't mind. Especially all the little perks that Prime gives you, you know, free deliveries and whatnot. It's cool. All right. We'll work on that a little bit later. Let's do a hard refresh and go check those Atlas changes, shall we? I also bit my lip. It's really annoying. Anybody else run into that? It's not cool. It's not cool. Sounds good. What's up, Fourth? Welcome back. Happy Friday. How you doing today? Okay. This looks a little better, but I'm not sure what it was thinking with this part here. Yeah, so this looks a lot better, right? The operator and the orchestrator are wider. They should be center aligned, so I'm not sure why Marcelo is offset to the left. And then more importantly, administrator should connect directly to Marcelo, right? Please fix that. It's a minor UI request. Okay. And then also the floor plan here. For the C-suite team, for example, you just plopped Oracle on there. right? You didn't reposition any other of these C-suite team agents. I think that this should be responsive in nature, meaning if we add another C-suite exec, it should reposition the tiles within the floor plan, right? Why did you take this lazy approach? Remember, we don't want to take that lazy approach. We want to do it right, not do it quick. Yeah, I think that is definitely on, where was it? I know somebody shared that link with me and I favorited it, but it's not near the top of my list, sadly. So I'm looking forward to you digging into this because I have a feeling you're gonna do it sooner than I would. It's actually not bad. It's really only the markup is tip, because I have some intro account with Prime, with my Prime sub. They gave me like a trial for I forget how many months, but I have $0 fees. I think that this delivery would have cost an additional like $12 on a, what was the total? I don't remember the total. It looked intense, but everything was zeroed out for me because of the trial. Will I keep using this? Probably not, but I will use it through the the end of its trial for sure. Yeah, DoorDash for food, that makes sense. 15 to 25%. Yikes. Building and shipping, yes. TGIF before holiday weekend. Oh, is it a 3-day weekend? It is. I lose track. I lose track of these holidays, man. Especially being gone out of this country for a year and now being back. It feels like another day. I'm going to be working Monday. We're going to live stream Monday. I don't care that it's a holiday. We will be live. So good to know that it's a holiday. Yeah. Yeah, there's too much to do around here. I'm not taking a day off. Come on now. Let's go give Product OS some love. How's the Agent Atlas looking? Yeah, it's not carrying over. I think that's the next link here. Let's actually do a quick little prompt. Yeah, I'd like to make sure that our Agent Atlas module here in Product OS is a direct reflection of the plugin, right? So as we do more and more work on the plugin with the list, floor, and 3D view, looks like we have an old stale viewpoint of everything. Please let me know what you find and make sure that it's always linked to that plugin, right? True, true. That's when you get the most done, to be honest. That's when you get the, yeah. Super nerd reply, but I love it. Listen, the younger me, I'd be at the beach. I'd be at the Delta. I'd be down in the Central Coast. I'd be taking a trip. I'd be partying. I'd be drinking. All that. But, you know, we mature in our late 30s. But yeah, my teenage years, my early 20s, I was still very much into that way of life. Every holiday was an excuse to go do something, to go somewhere, to go have some fun, to go party. But, you know, you can only do that so much. Yo, what's up, Danteo from Chile? Welcome. Thank you for being here, and I'm happy to hear it. Appreciate your support and your feedback. If there's anything I can ever do to make that experience better, whether it's a video that you want to see that doesn't explain something that you need explained, just let me know. I love making videos for requests like this, especially, you know, I don't make all of them, but more often than not, somebody's request turns into me going down a rabbit hole and then becoming interested in what they asked, you know, like I love that. So ask away, and thank you for being here. Happy Friday. Cheers. I don't speak very much Spanish, so forgive me. I'm Portuguese, so falas português, posso falar português comigo, mas espanhol, eu hablo muy pequeno. I can't even. I'm not even going to fake it. Spanish is something I just never bothered to learn. I learned French in high school. You know, when we had the option to learn a second language, you know, as kids. Let's see how we're doing with the Atlas here. You were right to call that out. Hard refresh. Beautiful. This is looking good. Now, I think I'll eventually center these guys. Let's do it now. So for operator and orchestrator, all of the contents of the tile itself should be centered. More importantly, they're too wide. Let's reduce the width. Let's reduce a lot of that empty space. Clean up that top part of the list view, please. Okay, a little better. A little better. Also, the floor plan view. So here's some notes. I love these additions to listing how many subagents they have, etc., how many skills. I think what you should do here is only show the pill tag for the model used from each respective C-suite team member or agent profile for that matter. And then we click the tile to then have like a drop-down tooltip showing those skills, subagents, etc. pill tags. This will allow you to clean up this floor plan view and actually fit Oracle on there without overlapping anybody. Make sense? You should also be doing this for the 3D view as well. If I click on an agent, oh, actually, it looks solid on the 3D view. The only note I have is on the 3D view, I would like to see a pill tag of what model each agent is using. That's it. And then we click the agent, right? And we see all the specifics. More importantly, when I take the time to reposition my mouse to a certain zoom and a certain, you know, pan, if I click an agent, it resets my camera. I don't want it to reset my camera if I click an agent. The camera should stay where it's at, right? Add this to your list, get it done. All right. Cool. This is coming along. This is looking very good. I'm loving it. Man, biting my lip, that's gonna bug. I swear I'm gonna bite that like two more times in the next 2 days. It's gonna be like that Office skit with Jim. I almost did it again. Ah! I need to stop talking about it. Any thoughts on using Gemma 4 for OpenClaw workflows? What's up, Gator? Welcome back. I remember you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the comment. Let's see. I'm used to Frontier, Opus 4.7 thinking for 100% of my work. Not sure if the gap would impact me, but I have several workflows I'd like to test. Yeah, I think for heartbeats, yes. Use the cheapest possible model for a heartbeat checker. I think that also if you have a cron and skill combo, and that skill is so insanely defined to where it doesn't matter. That biting of my tongue is really messing with me. Doesn't matter that I think any model could execute on your list via skill plus cron combo. So I would test it with one. Obviously, do one of your automations, one of your crons that it doesn't matter if you mess up, right? That has the least amount of impact if it does mess things up. Maybe even create a new test cron with a new skill tied to that cron, and then assign Gemma 4 to it and see how it does. Maybe you duplicate one of your existing complicated ones and then you tweak it a little bit and then that way you're not messing up anything you have in place. That would be my approach for a skater. But I can't speak to that because I haven't used Gemma for when it comes to incorporating it into my OC or Hermes for that matter. So I wish I can give you more context there, but that would be my initial thought and approach there. And I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any more questions there. How do you do that on Hermes dashboard? So I'm building a custom plugin for the Hermes dashboard right now. And this plugin is going to directly tie to your agent profiles here. I'm going to release this at some point. I'm building it selfishly for me first. And it's a way for me to visualize the team in a traditional org chart view, then an architectural top-down floor plan view, but then also a 3D view. This is honestly more vanity than anything. But I'm a very visual person, so I want to be able to see how the agent profiles are configured and working together. So I do plan on releasing this at some point, but for now I'm building it locally, and once it's ready for release, I'll make a video around it and then include a download link on that video. He reshares content like this at times. Good exposure. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Did one of your comments get blocked by our auto moderator? Who are we talking about? How did I squirrel that much? So we were talking here. We were talking here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of your comments didn't come through, Fourth. Ah, glad you like it. Yeah, just having fun with it. I also built this as well. We're still debugging it. So I showed you guys how to enable the TY chat within the Hermes dashboard, right? But, you know, one thing I personally love about my custom OS that I built for OpenClaw is my floating chat bubble. So I built another plugin for Hermes, and I'm still going to test it over the weekend and into next week. But the purpose is it carries over the same session as your chat here. But if you're navigating through your Hermes dashboard, you have your floating chat bubble here, right? So no matter where you are, it stays open, unless of course you minimize it. And then if you go back to chat, it disappears because it's that chat, right? It's still a little buggy, but we're working on it, and this will be released to the public at some point too. So yeah, that's today's main focus for the live stream. We're just building in public here. There's a lot of other things I want to work on, but I want to try to not squirrel as much. Oh, right on. Right on. Are you saying I should tag him? Yeah, one thing I do want to add to my list for these live streams, I think we're going to start live streaming on X as well. I don't really see the point in live streaming on Twitch at all. I really love YouTube, but I think that X is a great place to do these live streams. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that, right? Incorporate that. Maybe we start that fresh with June, just because I got a lot to handle these next 10 days. Let me add this to my list of my workflow. I believe the reason I didn't start streaming on X is because it's tedious to set it up. Every new live stream, I can't go through this, right? Through OBS. I can't show you right now because we're in the middle of a broadcast, but normally I can hit manage and I can create a new broadcast all within OBS, but it doesn't natively allow me to create that broadcast in X. What I have to do is go to, what is it? X producer? Oh no, I had a different tab for that. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up. Or I have a different profile on Brave that has the link. Let's see. This one here. I have to go into studio.x. That's it. Studio.x. And I have to go and manually create. Wow, a lot of drafts here. That's weird. I have to manually go in here and create the broadcast each time. Super tedious, very annoying. I gotta find a solution that optimizes this for OBS. Maybe since the last time I checked, OBS X streaming plugin. Okay, that's a Windows only plugin. Stream Elements SE Live. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's not a website. Does it? Maybe what I have to do is, because right now default I have it with YouTube. So maybe the move is make the default X and then add YouTube as a secondary through. I have this plugin that allows me to stream to different things. And I did set one up for Twitter here, but it doesn't work. We can try it right now. Let's start. Let's see what happens. I remember taking the time to troubleshoot this and test, but I never got it to work. Let's see. See, nothing pops up here as far as broadcasts. In theory, right? If that worked, it should show that I'm live, but I'm not. Right? So oh, I send that through Restream. Interesting. I wonder if the solution now is to send it through X. Okay. I kind of want to turn this live stream into a quick test to see. So let's modify. I'm going to have to take that off screen because I don't want to expose that. That would allow anybody to stream to my channel. So let's close all that. Do a hard refresh. Check on the Atlas really quickly. Okay. Much better. Floor. Okay, much better. Listen, it's not perfect, but it's better. I love it. This is great. Okay, cool. Sweet. I think this is at a good stopping point for today. Now let's see if it fixed the, like if I readjust the camera. Why is it not allowing me to? Nice. Look at that. It stays static, doesn't reset itself. I think this should be on the bottom right, to be honest, but cool. I think, whoa, wow. I think we got to optimize the text there, but I think we made a decent amount of progress today. This is solid. So let me, we'll do a real-time test here, live. Let me see if I can't fix this X streaming to where I just click a button here and we're done. All right, so create a source. I already created a source. All right. I'm guessing we use RTMPS. Grab that link there. Put that URL there. Let's grab that stream key there. Put that in there. Okay. Let me try hitting start and see what happens. So stop modifier. So let me try the other. Oh, it put a space at the end of it. That could have been messing with it. Let's see. Okay. Let's hit start. Nothing yet. Let's give it a few seconds. Maybe I'm being impatient. Whoops. Yeah, still no broadcasts here. You would think it would create one, right? One thing I've found for this link to work, I have to manually go in and create a broadcast each time. Well, it did not like that. It did not like that. No, OBS just crashed. I didn't click the wrong one. OBS just decided to crash on me. Let's try one more time. I'm gonna modify. We're gonna click this link instead, and we're gonna hit OK and start. And let's see if this works. Yeah, OBS just said nah, we're good. Unless I created the source wrong, but there's really no way to create the source wrong. You create a name, you select the region, and you're done. Right? Yeah, so I think one thing I can do to test is, I think we're at a good stopping point for the live stream for today. I think it's been a very solid day. I'm gonna start another live stream immediately after, but I'm gonna essentially replace my default from YouTube to X to see what happens. The reason I use it the way I use it is I just create a broadcast within OBS. I add the title, I add the description, I add the thumbnail, and I schedule the time, and it schedules it on YouTube. The problem is it doesn't. Yeah, so at first I was doing PS or, S, and then secondly, I tried RTMP. Let's see if it came up. Nope. Shows it's been running for 1 minute, but nothing's happening on X, and nothing is even happening in the producer dashboard here, right? So it's supposed to show a broadcast once you create one. I have the source, but not the broadcast. So it doesn't automatically create a broadcast for me. It's like I have to go in and manually do that. That's why I stopped trying to stream on X, because it's just so tedious having to do that. Now, I think the solution is just having an agent do it for me. But first I should probably test to see if it works in my OBS. So I'm about to end this stream. We're gonna do another one. I'll delete it after I'm done. But I'm just gonna try to connect X and see what happens. Yeah, so I wanna thank, shoot, I can't pin all the comments because OBS crashed and cleared it all out. But thank you for being here. Appreciate you, Ultima. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the comments, appreciate the support and feedback, and see you guys on Monday. Thank you, Nicholas, for stopping by. Thank you, Cross-Eyed Sensei. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, Nicholas. I'm trying to remember everybody. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Sharma. Thank you, Fourth. Thank you, F-World. Thank you. Damn, I can't remember all the comments. Forgive me, everybody. Normally, I have a history of chat that I can go through and pin, but thank you, Mr. Baker. How did I forget Mr. Baker? But yeah, hope everybody has a great weekend. Catch you Monday, same time. Until then, happy building. Cheers.